We continue our election coverage now with KITV4's political analyst, Neal Milner. He's here to break down all of the major races. Good morning, Neal. Are you ready for a long night tonight?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, and we are ready for you. Well, we just saw the story about the presidential race. It's really too close to call, so I'm going to ask you right now. Can you call it?
Well, the trend seems to be this, that the popular vote's going to be very close. The most recent stuff would suggest that maybe Obama would win the popular vote a little. But that's a dead heat. What seems to be more likely the case is that Obama's going to win on the basis of the electoral votes. And the trends have been moving that way. The kind of respectable polling organizations that are very cautious in their approach have been saying that that's what's happening. You never know in a close election, but right now I would say that's the most likely outcome.
And speaking of close races, the Honolulu mayoral race between Kirk Caldwell and Ben Cayetano, you have opposing polls saying different things. So what do you think is going to happen after tonight?
Well, that's an interesting one because you don't really have polls that are very useful for that because they're too few and they're too different from one another. I think for sure Caldwell has caught up, but that's not surprising for the reason that he picked up a lot of the Carlisle votes. I think the degree that he caught up is probably pretty substantial, and that's going to be a close election. If I had to guess, and this is an educated guess, I would say that Caldwell is going to win. The interesting thing about this is it really at this stage is not a referendum about rail. Rail no longer really is the key issue because the rail people, one way or another, decided a long time ago. This has become much more an issue about character, about leadership, and about reminding Democrats that the real Democrat is Kirk Caldwell. That's a lot of what's behind the Pacific Resource Partners ads, attack ads, positive ads, whatever. So this last minute is about these undecided people who are less interested in rail as the compelling issue.
Really? That's interesting. So they're more interested in leadership and who they trust.
They're interested in other things. They put other things on the list. This is common, actually, in elections. People who come into an election late, who are less likely to decide early, are less concerned with particular issues and are more concerned with general competence and leadership. Kind
of that gut feeling is, do I trust this person?
That's right, but we all have the gut feeling. But some people use other cues a little bit more than others. Committed voters use the other cues more than others, the policies and so on. But the kind of gut feeling, the sense of what's this person like is more important for these undecided voters.
Let's talk about the Republican Party here in Hawaii. Obviously, the party in general is still struggling to get more candidates in office, and you know, this is Obama country, dominated by Democrats. So how do you think the presidential election is going to affect some of the major races and some of the smaller races in the legislature?
Well, the smaller races in the legislature, I don't think the Obama thing really affects. I mean, the way to think about this is not so much that Obama is running for president. It's the historically stable, large Democratic majority in this state that doesn't change very much. The Democrats, they can, if Obama gets a few percentages less, a few percentages more, it's not going to make a lot of difference. The thing that our senator is running against, that Lingle is running against, that Charles DeJoux is running against, is really not Obama. It's the stability, the historical stability of the Democratic Party identification in this state, and that people don't change very much. That's the challenge that DeJoux and Lingle are up against. They're really fighting history and psychology here.
Well, it's going to be an exciting night. Any surprises that you're expecting?
Maybe some little ones here and there. Hawaii doesn't really have much surprises in the election. The mayoral one may be a surprise only because we really don't have good information about what's been happening.
Really quickly, Neal, because we're out of time. Big Island, Billy Kinoy, or former Mayor Harry Kim?
You know, whenever there's nothing much going on interesting during election night, you can always rely on the Big Island. And this is, you have two competent, colorful people who over time in this campaign have created much more heat. And in fact, if you had to do a hit parade of which were the best debates during the whole time during this election, you would probably say that the debates between Kinoy and Harry Kim were up there.
Yeah, certainly some fireworks over that one. Neal Milner, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck. It's going to be a long night tonight.
I can take it.
And to see this interview again, you can head to the top videos section of our website, KITV.com. It is 6:41.